Welcome to Module 5. This module we will be looking at math as well as behavior. So this is a variety of topics, and we will look at differentiating within high quality instructional strategies so that all students can access the content and grasp what we're trying to teach. Okay, so looking at the chapters, and someone brought this up to me, and I'm glad that it was a nice reminder. So several of the chapters within your textbook are repeated as required readings, and this was intentional. So you can make note of those chapters that are repeated, and if you've already read them, congratulations, you have less to read this week. If you didn't get a chance to read them, it's kind of a note to you that these are really important chapters. So these are ones that I really recommend hitting, and they also have some content that applies to multiple areas within this class. So Chapter 3 is one of them that was already assigned before, so maybe you've already read it. If so, you can review it if you feel you need to, otherwise you can move on. So then there's also Chapter 9, which covers math, and Chapter 13, which covers more of those social skills. There are more supplemental resources this time because there are two topics that are pretty comprehensive. So within the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics, they have some standard-based lesson plans that are ready to go. They have printable material. Anything that you would need is available to you to use in that lesson plan, and it goes anywhere from, I believe they cover pre-K all the way up to the high school levels. And they use a variety of ways to teach math, and primarily they're visual. So this is something that a math specialist recommended to me a few years ago. And it's something that I found to be a great resource during my time as a teacher with students because of the heavy visual content within those lesson plans. And if you're someone who's trying to find different ways to teach math concepts to your students, this would be a great resource. They have interactive resources as well, so they're game-like things that students can play online. It's all aligned to standards, so you can search by standard. In addition, these resources you can check on your own time. The Boys Town link, that I know a student did have an issue with this. I was able to open it some of the time, and then I was not able to at one point as well. So I don't know if maybe they were having an issue with their website for a brief period of time. There is a link here and then also in the Questions Anyone forum. So please let me know if you're not able to access this, because these are really nice lesson plans for social skills that give you an idea of what a social skills lesson plan may look like if you haven't taught one before, and then if you are looking for them to beef up what you're already doing, those are some nice ones to have on hand. So the discussion board looks at a variety of things. So looking at creating structure and routine within a classroom, and this looks different from year to year, classroom to classroom, as teachers find what works best for them and for their students. So I would like you to share what you have done to create that structure, and then also you will look at 2 social skill lessons that you plan on teaching in the future. And you don't need to share the full lesson plan, just start the discussion about how you foresee yourself teaching social skills. Maybe you already do. So you're looking at how do you structure and make routines within your classroom, and even with specific students, and then looking at those ways to increase consistency. And this is something I feel like we as teachers just work on continually. Okay, so on Sunday, you have a 30-point assignment due, and you'll be looking at all the roles a special education teacher fills, and there are a lot of them. And so reflect on your ability to fulfill the 5 primary roles listed. Which ones are your strengths, and which ones do you find most challenging? And then, do you feel that the list is all-encompassing of what a special education teacher does? And so if you don't think it is, what could be added? we talked about before looking at differentiation. So there are two components. The first one was this more reflective part where we're looking at the roles of a teacher, and then looking at the 6 major areas that can be adjusted to differentiate for student learning. And there are whole class, which are those macro type, and then micro, which are individual level differentiation strategies. If you are wondering about this, that's what's in chapter 3 of your textbook. So I would recommend revisiting that if you were thinking, I'm not sure about how to do that for our assignment. You will need to create one lesson plan. So this could be something you've already done. You might have created this lesson plan for a lesson you taught or a class you've taken, and then differentiate for 2 unique learners. So, I'm sorry, 3 unique learners, but 2 of the unique learners need to have a mild to moderate disability. So for example, you could also have the 3rd learner be a student who's learning English as a second language, a student who is a high achieving student who's talented and gifted, or something else that you have experienced in your past. So 2 of them have to be in the mild to moderate disability range. So you need to make adjustments that are on a whole class level or limited to a specific number of students. So this is your way to prove your knowledge of the universal design of learning and your ability to differentiate. So try and challenge yourself to make these very student specific rather than more broad. If you do choose a broad one, that might be highly appropriate. I will just need you to somehow explain that. So within your lesson plan, there should be a rationale for those differentiation techniques, and I should be able to very easily see that. So the way that students have earned points most easily is when they explicitly tie in the lesson plan what the learning need is, and then how they are meeting it through differentiation. If you have any questions, please email me. And as always, anytime you have a question, you can email me or use the forum. And then this is just, I wanted to remind you that make sure you're working on those practicum hours. We have a few weeks left in the class, and I know that the end of the school year can get quite hectic. So this is due in module 7. You have a few weeks left, and just make sure that you are getting those hours in. Enjoy the nice weather.